This is fun. Hi, everyone. Wow, we're live.
Okay. It's happening.
Yes, it is. Everybody, I'm Sue Connors, and this is Western Canada Globe right now. And as a thank you for everyone for voting, I've asked a few of my sponsors to do some live Facebook videos for me. And I am so lucky because I have Erin Bradley with me. And she is extraordinary. For those of you that don't know her, she has made so many people beautiful. I mean, we're all beautiful inside, but you really bring out the best of us on the outside.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, half the people who are watching are definitely your fans, no question about it. So I'm super excited to be here with Erin, and Erin has kindly offered to answer questions not only on style, but also on some makeup tips, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so how long have you been doing this, Erin?
I've had people ask me that recently. I have had to count the numbers and think. I think I've been doing makeup, well, kind of all of it, like makeup, styling hair, doing the fashion styling for, I think it's almost 15 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I started when I was 10.
Okay, good. I was gonna say.
Joking.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's quite a long time. It's amazing how you accumulate so much knowledge that I did not know when I started, especially for closet stuff. I was a huge fan of What Not to Wear. That was where I started. I bought every book I bought. I watched every episode, and I was just more. And I'm well, I can basically do all of it. I can't cut hair, but I can style the hair. I can give them makeup tips. I can be Carmody and all those people. And it's Clinton and Stacy do it all together. So it's a perfect package for so many people because it's all connected. When they're getting a new outfit for an interview, or they just had a baby and they need, a new wardrobe or edit in their closet, they still need makeup as well. It's usually have you tried this gloss, or have you tried this lipstick? It would just enhance what you already have and be simple, fast, easy. Nobody has time. People have 5-10 minutes to get ready in the morning. So,
yeah.
I
just want to know what actually works with my skin tone
yes.
and all that good stuff. But I'm going to save my questions. So the first bit, I asked many of you to submit your questions on wardrobe or makeup, and I've got a few diverse questions from different women from different walks of life, different age groups, you name it. So do you mind if I just jump right on in?
Jump right into it.
Okay. First one is from a lovely friend of mine named Marilyn.
Okay. And
Marilyn, this is her words verbatim, so this is kind of funny. So are you ready for this?
Perfect.
All right. As you might know, I have my mother's body shape.
Don't we all?
No boobs though. LOL. Welcome to my world. I have a huge waist, but no butt and little legs. When I try to buy jeans, it's a disaster. Any thoughts?
First off, anyone with a wider waist and narrower legs, you want to stay away from skinny. And so much right now, it's harder to find a trouser pant or a wider leg, but it's definitely going to help balance a lot better. Because if you just do skinny, it just makes you look like an inverted triangle.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, the only way to kind of balance, if you did want to do tights or a fitted pant, would be to make sure that you've got some knee-high boots on or something to balance the weight. Right? Because if it's just tapering down into skinny, then it emphasizes your waist or your torso that's wider. So usually a more straight leg or a trouser pant is going to be more suited, and then depending on what top or jacket you do, you can layer to then kind of help define the waist a bit more.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, lots of people are loving you. Okay, the next one is, let's go over to a beautiful friend of mine who is her birthday today. So happy birthday, Rose.
Birthday.
All right. And my question goes, what goes with wearing long sweaters? Jeans, tights? What type of shirt do you wear it with?
Okay, so let's just start with, so long sweaters. First off, depending on the tights. So long sweater could be a couple different things. It could be tunic, like something that you're wearing that's just past your bum and whatnot. Or it could just be shorter than that, or it could even be longer than that. So that's going to kind of determine what you're going to be putting underneath. Because if your top doesn't quite pass your bum, or you can still see the crotch area of your pants, you don't want to be wearing tights, or you definitely want to be making sure that it's an opaque pant or tight or whatever, because you always want to try the bend over test and make sure that you can't see. If you feel I'm just going to put these leggings on and then my tunic top, but then you bend over and you can your top comes up and you can see because the fabric of the leggings is sheer. It's a no-go. So that's where jeggings. That's where jeggings kind of came in, because they're that really cottony, stretchy fabric, but they're almost like jeans. So they're thicker So I find those are generally a good like safe bet to do with like a longer like tunic top, and they're usually skinny enough that you can either put into put into boots, or you can just wear like heels or flats or whatnot with them if they're a straighter leg.
Awesome, I love it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and she gets a second one because it is her birthday today.
Okay.
She says, "I'm almost 53. You are, darling. 53 today."
Happy birthday.
Yeah, my age. What casually trendy clothes should I wear that doesn't date me? I still feel like I'm 40. Come on, you feel like you're 30. You look like you're 30. I want to look trendy, not trashy or old.
So it's all about, it's hard because, you know, we do like whatever age we're feeling, but we don't necessarily want to like date ourselves. You don't want to be dressing in all the trends because I feel like that's what like the 19-year-olds are doing. Right, so it's usually picking one of the trends and then kind of like, if it's a pattern, so say the trend right now, I'm trying to think, it's spring coming up, so usually brighter colors and stuff. So maybe that's not going to be like colored pants with a colored top and a jacket. It's going to be picking like one thing. So maybe it's just a jacket that you focus on, whatever the trendy color is. Or accessories, scarves and accessories are an easy way, or a purse, a new purse, that's an easy way to be trendy without having to invest a lot also into a trend that's going to be goodbye in like 6 months. Right, so accessories are so easy for that, and you can get them affordable. Like you can buy a new purse for $30, and if it's a fun color, say like mustard or a color you wouldn't normally wear. So that's usually a way to feel trendy. Also, depending on fit and knowing what works for you and what doesn't. If you're trying to put yourself into whatever's trendy, but it doesn't work with your body shape, then it's just going to make you look old. It's going to make you look like you're trying too hard, and it's just, yeah. Or if you pull it out of your closet from back when it was, like that is a no-go. If you've already done it, you can't do it again.
I can't keep my
like acid wash, like you can't pull your acid wash jeans out and wear them again now because they've changed, and the style of them is different. And the girl, like the 19-year-olds who can pull out their mom's jeans and wear mom jeans and make them look trendy, we can't do that. So if you've done a trend, like if you've already lived through the trend once, you probably shouldn't relive it. Does that make sense?
I'm so depressed.
No, don't be depressed. You can know, but it's true. Like I mean,
no.
I think like shoulder pads. Like think of some of the really tragic. Like, but some people that really works on. Like my mom was totally the like more narrower top and like wider bottom. So when shoulder pads came out, like it was great because it helped her balance her top and her bottom much easier. I mean, they were much more exaggerated than they are now. Shoulder pads now are like much softer and they're not like super thick Velcro like, you know, football player ones. But
I know, I have
but
them.
Yeah.
They're in my closet from 1980 something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But does that help? Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, so the next one I'm going to go on to, speaking of trendy, and let's talk about another girl, Allison, who's given me a question, and she's actually in her 20s, so she can get away with a lot more than...
A little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more than what we can get, and she's beautiful, of course, so whatever, we love you, Allison. Anyway, she says, how do you go about styling knee-high boots?
So knee-high boots, that could go back to one of the original ones, how they look great with tunics. So if you do tights or jeggings and then you wear the longer sweater, boots are perfect because they just balance, especially if someone's got a little bit more top-heavy or hips, and then the boots just add another like volume on the bottom to kind of balance out a more skinnier like fitting clothing. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Yeah. And then the knee-high boots, I mean, they look great with skirts. A lot of like if you're in your 20s and depending on how short a skirt you want to go, that's bringing back the 70s. Hardcore right now with the bell bottoms and the mini skirts and all that stuff. So doing that with like leggings or tights, if you're going to be sitting, because often mini skirts are more standing appropriate.
But maybe not for someone my age.
Well, no, we can do it. It's just, again, making sure that you've got something opaque on, because I think it's making sure, picking a focus. So if you want to show off your legs and show off that mini, then you're going to be more modestly covered on the top.
Oh, okay.
Right? You're going to focus. So like I'm going to focus on my sexy legs and that short skirt and my knee-high boots, but then my top is going to be more like covered. You're not going to have like a plunging neckline and sparkle and craziness. It's all about focus. The same with makeup, right? You wouldn't want to do a crazy smoky eye and a really bright lip. You know, you pick one and then you complement the rest. So I find the fashion is the same. Like if you're, you know, focusing on one area, be it the short skirt or trying to think right now, like those, you know, off the shoulder tops, those ones, like pick that and that be your focus. Don't then layer a whole bunch of scarves and necklaces and stuff over it. Just like show off your shoulders and keep it simple.
Speaking of shoulders,
yes.
The other question,
yeah.
and I want you to be very honest
okay.
in this answer, because we had a pre. The cold shoulder sweaters.
Yes.
What about them?
So the sweaters, and these are basically the cutout shoulder sweaters. And I've seen them like all ages of people wearing them, and I think they're definitely a fad. Like they're definitely going to be probably like next season they'll be out again. So if you are going to jump on this bandwagon, don't spend a lot of money. And it does, for people who have wider shoulders, it is actually good because it kind of breaks it up a bit. It's not one big expanse of clothing or like a boat neck. It does break it up. But usually it's on like a tunic-y top or maybe like a bodysuit or something that's more fitted. So making sure it's kind of one or the other. I don't know, it's all about balance. It's always about balance, like we were talking about and saying, like if you're gonna do like a flowy kind of tunic-y top, it's got the shoulder cutouts, maybe you're going a bit more boho, then you don't want to do like big flowy pants too. Unless you were, you know, in Bahamas, maybe that would be more appropriate. But you want to then pick a more fitted like bottoms if you're going to do a flowy top, and vice versa. So if it was a bodysuit and it had the cutouts, and then I would do like wider like trouser pants or bell bottoms are kind of back, so you could roll with that too.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
that changes how I dress. Yeah, okay. You just taught me something. All right.
Now I see some questions.
Oh, okay.
Then you need a clutch. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Yeah. Then you need a clutch purse.
Oh, a clutch, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Did you notice that we're both squinting?
We're like,
yeah.
What's it on the screen there? Lovely. Yeah, post your questions. I can see some of them. So if there's anyone live on there, I can see some. Yeah.
I don't have the glasses with me. I'm going to ask you a couple more too.
Sure.
So one is on the choker necklaces. Just moving on to accessories
Yes.
for a moment. What, are they something that we should be wearing, and what should I be wearing that with?
So choker necklaces, anyone can wear a choker necklace, but it's also going to depend on the thickness and how dark and heavy they are. So if you have a shorter neck, like if you just naturally have a shorter neck and then you put a choker on, it's just going to make you look even shorter. It's like people with shorter legs and then wearing those like big strappy sandals that go around their ankle. It just makes your leg look shorter. It doesn't make it elongated, it makes it shorter. So if you do have a shorter neck and you do want to elongate your neck, but you want to jump and do the choker thing, just make sure it's a more fine, like a really like maybe a fine chain or something just like closer to your skin color so it's not so obvious.
Okay.
And then anyone who has longer necks, then go to town. You can kind of do a little bit of layering or do the choker. I know I've seen like the ribbons like as choker. I've seen like a whole bunch of those trends coming back. So
coming back is the key, because I have a whole series of
or shirts that have it built in, like it's a separate piece that comes up as the choker, which very trendy. But again, like ideally if it's any like thicker than a centimeter, it's going to be better for someone who has like a longer neck. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a question.
Yes.
So I've got I'm not going to spoiler alert for my pageant, which is next weekend. But I do have a beautiful dress, a beautiful gown.
Yeah.
And it's more of a plunging neckline, and it's kind of a smoky blue.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea how to accessorize that. What kind of a necklace to wear with that?
I mean, you got to be careful, because if it is plunging, you don't want it like just falling into your cleavage. You can't
Won't
see it.
fall anywhere.
Right? Yeah. No, you've got cleavage. It would happen. But I mean, there's be two options. I would probably do either something more delicate, and then like delicate earrings too. So you could just go the delicate route, or if you want to be a bit more dramatic, play up your earrings. Like depending on whether you're doing hair up or down, do like a bold earring, whether it's color or sparkle or something a bit bigger, and then you don't even have to worry about your neck. Just put some like nice moisturizer with a little bit of like, shine on it.
Sparkle?
Yeah, a little bit of sparkle. Nothing too sparkly, but yeah, a little bit of sparkle would be, and that would probably be more what I would go towards. Or if you're gonna do the necklace, if the necklace is a focus, then do a smaller earring.
Perfect.
You don't want your jewelry touching.
Okay, good.
I used to have a friend, and I hope she's not. I don't know if she's watching, but she used to like, that rule, like if you put on a bunch of stuff, you should, before you leave, you should take like, I don't know, a couple pieces off.
I didn't know that.
There's apparently this rule, but she would like come in and those like big matching sets, like the big necklace and the matching earrings and the like she would have it all on, the whole thing. Like, and her jewelry would be like touching, the big dramatic statement necklace would be touching the earrings and the bracelets, everything. I was like,
and of course it's
not minimal at all.
Yeah.
And that's some people, that's just who they are. It was a lot of metal. But
yeah. I think I'm missing. Oh, she already answered my question. Sorry, Trish. I was going a little bit closer to show me chat.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Yay. Okay, good.
That's excellent. Now, I do want to switch into a makeup question, and I'm going to show you a picture of a very beautiful woman that works with me.
And I should tell you, they were actually here at the Elite Studio in Bastion Square.
Oh, yes!
Really exciting. We didn't share that in the beginning. So I'm here on Studio Fridays doing makeup lessons and teaching, and people can stop by. But yeah, it's a beautiful. The light in here is gorgeous. It's Elite Cosmetics. You should check it out if you haven't.
Of course, absolutely. And we're going to have a little draw at the end too of giving a little bit of a
Yes, we are.
discount off of yours. Yes, we are. I've got the draws. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is beautiful Samantha, who is someone who works with me, and I'll just show you her picture. You can see her. She's actually a friend on Facebook. Anyhow, the question, this is for Erin. She wants to know how to make her eyes pop. How can she do more and make them, stand out? Oh, she's already beautiful. I don't know what her problem is, but
She's like, how to make my eyes pop? I mean, and it depends on what about her eyes that she likes. If it's the color, so her eye color looks like it's kind of like a grainy brown.
Yeah, it's beautiful brown.
Yeah. So, and brown eyes are great because they can wear anything. They're kind of the luckiest eye color because any jewel tones or any color will enhance them. Better than brown. Like brown on brown is like putting a brown picture on a brown ball. Doesn't really do it. It looks nice, but it doesn't like complement or brighten it. So right away, like if we were like enhancing her eye color, there's a couple of different things you do. If you don't want to do like shadow or liner that is toned in like any of the jewel tones, so green, blue, purple, it doesn't have to be bright versions of that. It could just be like a khaki green or like a navy or a charcoal that's kind of blue toned or like plum, like eggplant colors. Anyways, if you don't want to do that kind of color, like as just a liner, even just shadow as a liner to enhance her eye color, you can actually do lips. So doing like any kind of like those plummy berry colors will instantly make brown eyes, or even if they're slightly greeny, kind of just like pop a lot more.
I was going to ask you about that because the color of the lip is always the question.
It's what color to do. Yeah. I know. Skin tone makes a huge difference in that. I find what most people are comfortable with is usually like soft stains of color. So even if you own like a bright red, or there's this really beautiful burgundy color that Elite has, I'm just gonna show you. It's kind of like, it looks like a dark plum color. But this, like if you have, most of us have a lipstick like this at home. They're like, I don't know how to wear it, or I wore it once for an occasion. Yeah. If you actually like shear it down, so I'm just like smudging it, it softens out to like a sheer stain. So it's a much more wearable and easier way to wear a red, a burgundy, pink, like any of those like brighter colors if we want to wear like a pop. Because if for you, like for pageant, if you're, wanting to make a statement, then usually like a lip color is gonna happen. And you can, because you're on stage, usually wear a bit more of a dramatic eye and still wear like a dramatic lip. So, if you don't want to wear that very precise, defined, like bright lip, then doing more of a stain, and then you can like layer gloss over top of it to soften. It's a little bit more wearable, and it softens easier.
So do you do that on your hand? I mean, do you take your lipstick?
I would just like take the lipstick and just like dab it,
and
then like rub your lips together. You can use a brush to just lightly like pat it on, but if you're just, or you could use your finger just to go off the product and just dab that on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know, you're like, oh, who knew? But and you can also use like lipsticks as blush. So if you're, what? Say who? Anyways, so you can actually just take one of your regular blush brushes, and whether it's a cream blush or an actual lipstick, you can just like stroke a little bit on the brush. So don't just do that. That's not gonna work. It's gonna be like racetrack cheek. But anyway, so then when you go to do it, you can just very softly get like a soft sheer like stain, and that's just with the lipstick. I'm doing it on my arm because that's the only thing I can see on there. But anyway, so that's a way, like, so you can get the same color, like, closely.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. So what about black eyeliner? A lot of people wear black eyeliner.
I know, black liner. It's like my bane of my existence as a makeup artist to, like, take most people's black liner out of their makeup kit.
Okay, I have black eyeliner.
Reason being is that black isn't really a color, right? Like, it doesn't make any eyes, the color of your eyes stand out more, right? It's very dark and it's defining, but for the most part, like it's not actually complementing your eye color. It's great on like Asians, or if you have really dark hair or things like that, because it's the closest, like it's the next darkest shade on your face or with your lashes and stuff. But for blondes, for redheads, for anyone in between, like brown hair, usually doing like a really dark purple. And it could be almost black, but just having that little bit more like purple, more brown. Like I wear a dark brown like that really dark green, dark blue, any of those dark versions of a color is going to be much more complementary than black. If you're doing evening, then you need black because the intensity needs to be stronger because the lights are dimmer. But for day, especially, doing like, it makes such a difference on popping your eye color. And that's what most of us want to do, right? Most of us like our eyes, and we just want that to stand out more. So doing something that's softer will actually, instead of people seeing the liner, and that's what they see first, they see your eye color. And they're like, oh wow, like you've got beautiful, like, you know, hazel eyes. Instead of being like, wow, your liner's really nice. You know? So that's where, like, as a makeup artist, I'm like showing people how to use shadow as a liner. So using like a really like pretty eggplant color as your liner, and just with a shadow angle brush. It's so much easier.
There's a question.
There's a question. What's the best color eyeliner for green or hazel eyes? I would say, again, the dark purple. So you could do, and depending on skin tone, you could go more like reddy purple or more bluey purple. But dark brown, like just a like chocolatey kind of brown, is a really safe color. Let's see if there's any other questions that are hazel. Another thing you could do with hazel eyes is like golds, like usually because there's a bit of yellow in hazel eyes. So any golden tones look gorgeous.
Okay, yeah. As an eyeliner or more of an eyeshadow?
Liner or just a shadow, it's just like a highlight. I usually like to pop a bit of gold, like a soft gold in the center of the lid. It's a really safe spot because it doesn't matter your age, you can always use a bit of shine in the center of your lid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if everything else is matte, yeah.
This is so much fun.
I know.
I just love this
so
kind of
much
stuff.
knowledge, and there's so much to share.
Oh,
Here,
it
I'm gonna
totally
put it
is.
there.
Okay, I'm going to ask another question because
Yes.
these are just more for, and anybody jump in as well, but I have oily skin, and so the problem is that I can put makeup on in the morning, or I can put it on right before I go out, and I've tried every kind of matte I can think of to stop it from turning me into this shiny person, which, you know, love to be shiny, but not on my skin.
No, you don't want to be that glowy all the time.
No!
Okay.
Exactly.
So how do you get rid of that? Well, it's a trick because it depends on so many factors. Like sometimes it depends on diet, it depends on a lot of things. But I feel like people who have shiny skin are actually a lot luckier because your lines, you will have a lot less lines in the future. So some of you might just have to suck it up a bit. However, primers do help a bit, but some people overuse primers. Like most primers tend to have a bit of silicone in, and they're just really slick, and they like over apply them, but then nothing else sticks to them because they're so slippery if you over apply it. So if you're using some sort of primer to like get rid of that shine and to kind of,
that was fun.
very loud outside. Anyways, primers essentially just are this boundary in between your skin and your makeup, so that they lock everything underneath, and then your makeup can just stay on top. But if you put too much on, the makeup can't actually adhere to the skin. So if you're going to use it, just use it sparingly in like a sheer amount, or just making sure you're using the right powder, or like even the foundation, using not like really oil-based or super glowy foundations, or those BB creams and all that stuff that's the rage. A lot of people are using like facial oils and things right now, which, I mean, my skincare knowledge is a little bit more limited than, you know, going really into that, but just making sure that you're using the right skincare products. Because your skin, like your makeup is only going to look as good as your skin underneath. So if you haven't, you know, done a good, like, you know, moisturizer or use the proper products underneath it, your makeup over top isn't going to, you can layer a Band-Aid over top of things, but you're not really fixing the problem. So making sure the right, I often and I mean, this is, I mean, a lot of makeup artists will, you know, be conflicted with this or not, but I don't actually apply moisturizer or primer for the most part when I'm doing people's faces.
Really?
I don't, because I never actually know, like, what have they put on their skin, like what have they put as a moisturizer, what have they already done, and if I already then layer another thing, or just allergies, just people being sensitive to things, I'm not just going to throw a new moisturizer on, because I feel like it's a very personal thing. So whatever they've done in the morning, I just kind of start with that. And for long days, and if you tend to be oily, like, you don't need much like layered moisturizer on. So save that for evening to like do that whole regime. So for day, just, keep it easy. And having a good blotting powder, like there's a really good one. Actually, let's do it on you right now. Let's do a live demo. Let's do this. So this is, all right, so this is the Mattify Veiled Elation from Elate. It is magic. It actually does a bit of priming. And I don't know if here, let's see if we can go closer so that I want
You can see how my face is a little bit greasy right now.
Okay. So we're just going to do half to see. But it actually kind of like smooths out the surface of the skin at the same time. I don't know how it does it. It's magic. I'm just using like a flatter, kind of more denser brush.
Ignore my black eyeliner.
I'll change it before you leave. It's fine.
Good.
Okay, so I don't know if people can see.
I can.
I don't know if I can see the difference looking at it. It's probably trickier to see on Facebook Live. But it definitely smooths out. So making sure that whatever powder you're applying, or if you're reapplying during the day, that it's something that's more translucent, so that you're not like layering extra coverage. Because each time you touch up, you don't want to be putting on extra coverage, because then it'll just start looking like spackle all over your face. Nobody wants that. No, that's good. That's not here. Look up close in here too.
Oh, sorry guys. I'm
Yeah,
just
don't mind me. Don't mind
It's all
me.
about me. Oh yeah, that's
Right?
awesome.
Totally
Perfect.
match-wise. Yeah. So just making sure it takes away the shine. So having one of those handy powders during the day would be ideal for those oily skins.
Excellent.
Powders.
Yeah,
Okay. Powder products are your friend.
Yeah, no kidding.
Are there any other questions?
The only other question I had was more on a skincare, so I'm not sure if you can answer, but I'm going to throw it up for you anyhow. And this is from Sandy, and she said, "Hi Sue, wondering if you could ask Erin what women who are 60 plus can use to minimize enlarged pores and make your skin look more flawless."
Less product.
Oh, okay, easy.
I feel like the older we get, the more that we feel we need to cover. However, when you start getting lines or like enlarged pores, the more product that you put on, most people have found this, that you just see all of those things a lot more. It magnifies them. So it's picking, again, the right product. So for someone like anyone who's over, like I find 30 in general, just picking something that's more sheer. So when I start makeup, I usually, like regular makeup regime, or if I'm doing someone's makeup for a wedding, I start with just a sheer tinted moisturizer. So it lightly will give like coverage over redness or anything, and it won't sink into like heavy, like bigger pores. It just kind of blends over top and you can barely see it. And then if you need extra coverage, so under eyes or whatnot, then you go in with a concealer and just spot conceal. And then maybe set with a powder, maybe not, depending on your skin type. If you're dry, then just leave it. If you're a bit oily, then use the powder to set it. But that's how I approach most people. But I feel like people are taking like a medium or a full coverage foundation and then just slathering it all over their face. And it's just, and then it hasn't matched their neck or whatever, and it makes you look older. It's just too heavy. So less product is usually better. It's just knowing where to put it, maybe the application, making sure that you're using the right brush, because people will put concealer on. So they'll dab their concealer and then they do this and they just push it to the outside of their eye. Okay. So they're not actually getting coverage just on that area where they really need it. So using either like stippling or using a brush to put it on is going to be a much like softer application, and you tend to use like a lot less product.
And that was one of the questions that somebody had asked as well, is how do I cover up the dark circles under my eyes?
Oh, I know. Welcome to my life. I'm having a child and just like changed my under eye routine. Usually if you're trying to correct, like if you've got dark circles, whether it's hereditary or just lack of sleep, you need 2 colors. You can't do it in one color. So you need to take that extra step and find a color corrector, which usually has more of like a pinky, peachy, salmony base to it, so that it gets rid of that purpley, bluey tone. If you start with a light color, so like a highlighter or your skin color, but usually a couple shades lighter, and you put that right over top of the darkness, it just goes ashy. It goes lighter and it goes grayish almost, and it just makes them look worse. So you need to use something to correct first, and then go in with like that shade, a couple shades lighter than your skin tone, and just lightly go over top to just brighten. And then set with just a little bit of powder.
That made the whole thing work out. I mean, just who knew, right? I had
and a lot of companies sometimes they'll have different shadow like palettes and whatnot. I even just found one of the powders that Elite has. It's my regular. It's called Glowing Veiled Elation. I use it every day, but you can actually like pack it on and it brightens and conceals. For people who need like very minimal, or even as their second step, they could just use their powder as that step instead of having to do 2 concealers and then a powder over top to set it. So I mean, there's lots of ways. It's just less is more. So just making sure that, and using a brush always blends better than using your finger, because your finger, just the heat of it just like pushes everything aside. So if you're trying to cover a blemish, a sunspot, dark circles, anything that's got like concentrated pigment, you want to use like that stippling motion, but a brush where there's no heat in it. It just like presses it into the skin. If you're trying to shear out product, the heat of your fingers is perfect. So yeah. Oh, it's the right brush.
So yay, my husband getting me the brush set for Christmas is a good thing.
Totally. And just use even just an eyeshadow brush would work as a concealer brush. It doesn't have to be a specific concealer brush.
That was going to be my next question.
It could just be like, I mean, you could get like, I love my this brush from MAC is my concealer brush that I use at home, but you could just use, most people have this. They have like a basic brush that looks like that. It's kind of soft and fluffy, not too hard. You could just use that. Just have to clean it a little bit more often.
That is awesome.
And cleaning your brushes, have you done that? Do you know about that?
No. I've got a lot to learn. No,
You
and I
should
got to my
clean
Christmas.
your brushes at least once a month, if not twice a month. So put it in your phone. You think about all the bacteria that is on your face, in the product, wherever you keep your brushes, like if you keep them by the toilet, bathroom, I don't know, think about these things. So you're using, it'd be like taking your hair and just putting it into product continuously. It gets dirty and oily. So if you just use like I use my dish detergent, whatever's by my Palmolive or whatever, and I just like rinse it with like lukewarm water and the soap, and you can see all the color coming out, and then just rinse and lay flat to dry. It'll be like a whole new world. It's like a whole new brush each time you do it.
That is
and they'll
amazing.
last way longer. They don't break off and get as much of that like breakage.
Ah, that makes total
Because
sense.
a lot of them are natural hair. A lot of the brushes, not all of them. Some are synthetic or whatnot, but a lot of the natural hair bristles. Imagine your hair if you just continually put it into product and never cleaned it.
Now that makes sense. Okay, I
gross,
realize.
yeah.
Okay, all right. This has been fantastic. I don't know. I think you guys are pretty happy with Erin. I think she's been magnificent in this live. I want to do this again.
We should. This is fun. Actually, I need to do this kind of thing more often on Facebook Live. I can handle this.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
I know.
fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again.
Yay. Awesome.
But I really wanted to thank you, Erin. This has been absolutely
pleasure.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And Erin has been sponsoring me for the upcoming Mrs. Canada Globe competition.
We're gonna do a draw.
We're gonna do a draw. And
Yeah.
what is it that you're
So
giving?
let's do, I feel like, we could do either a makeup lesson or a styling appointment. So both are usually 2 hours. So we'll just do, it would be half off. So it'll just be, usually it's $140, so it's $70 an hour. So we'll just do, it'd be $70 for 2 hours.
That is
Makeup lesson or
fantastic.
styling appointment. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And again, it's the People's Choice Award for the Mrs. Canada Globe competition. You can vote for me or you can vote for somebody else. It doesn't matter to me, quite honestly. All proceeds go directly to the Sophia House. And this
So
is
amazing.
it's to help women and children escape domestic violence. So this is really important to me, and I think it's something that we all want to give back to the communities. And I'm really, really thankful that you did this with me. Do you want to do the draw?
Sure. Let's just pull around, close my eyes.
And I'll know the last name.
All right, Kelly.
All right, that's Kelly Ridgway.
Oh,
Kelly,
that's
congratulations,
exciting.
Kelly.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay, Kelly. Yeah, so and she can contact me through.
I'll put her in
Yeah,
touch.
she can do it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
she's a great friend.
Yay.
Anyways, thank you everyone. I'm seeing all the hearts and
Oh,
the thank yous.
Thanks.
And coming up next, I'm going to do another session with another one of the sponsors, which is Michelle Shorter from the Shorter Approach. She's on here.
Yay, Michelle.
I know.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to do a whole panel.
Oh my god, we should.
We're going to. If you want, do you guys think we should
Yeah.
do that? Love it.
Yay.
Okay. All right. Anyways,
Awesome.
thank you everyone. I'm going to share this on all my pages and my different social channels, but I just wanted to thank you so much again. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Friday.